Okay, interesting. Thank you. Quickly moving to Shenhua, given that the ISK advice on that particular project was issued in, from memory, May of 2013, which was both prior to the water trigger taking effect and prior to some changes to the project parameters, will the relevant decision makers be asking ISK to reconsider that project?
Senator, on that particular project, there was a request for IESC advice prior to the water trigger being introduced into Parliament. That request was withdrawn from the committee. The minister at the time wrote and requested that it be withdrawn. We then reissued a request for advice, noting that the water trigger was before Parliament for its consideration, and that be taken into account by the IESC in providing advice on that project. That was done. That was
still done back in May of 2013.
That's correct.
So my question is, given that the effluxation of time and the change to the project parameters, will ISK now be required to go back and reconsider the changed project?
Again, Senator, as we do on every project, we'll take a look at the IESC advice. We'll take a look at what sort of gaps in our information that we have and deem whether what sort of actions we need to take to make sure that there is an informed decision.
It's getting pretty late in the process, though. I mean, approval's due in a matter of weeks. I would have thought that you would have made that judgment about whether further ISK advice is needed already.
And again, Senator, the timeframes around this, my colleague Ms. Stagg will provide additional detail on this, but at this point, we're in the process of, we've just received the state assessment. We're now in the process of doing our own assessment of that. That will then lead to a determination, which we often are in a position where we have to stop the clock and ask for additional information. That may be the case on this project, but we haven't yet reached that determination.
So can I just confirm that the approval deadline is, I had the 17th of March in my head for some reason, but is that the correct date?
It's the 13th of March, Senator.
13th of March, subject to a potential stop with the clock provision to possibly seek further information from ISK.
Or anyone. We're not preempting particular decisions yet.
Not at all.
You're talking about different things that could be in decisions or different decisions that could be made. We're not preempting any of that. The proper process is underway, and that'll be those things will be taken into account.
Okay, I guess my question is, when you're 3 weeks out from an approval decision deadline, how likely is it that you're going to ask the ISK to reconsider an almost 2-year-old water advice?
The decisions that are
Surely you would have done that by now if you were going to do it. You're saying you haven't yet made that judgment whether to do it or not?
On some projects, Senator, you'll be aware that the timeframes under which the Commonwealth makes its decisions are fairly tight. They're stated in legislation, and sometimes we find ourselves near the end of that assessment process and determining that, on balance, we don't have enough information and therefore seek that. But that is determined on a case-by-case basis.
Sure.
Senator Wallersby, give me an indication of how much longer you want to stay?
Yeah, probably only another 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll just, we do have some other senators who'd like to ask some questions this evening, so if you get to be as quick as possible.
Yeah, thank you, I will do. So can I just clarify, with those stop the clock provisions, I'm conscious that you can use those to seek further information from the proponent. Can you use those same provisions to seek further information from ISK? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's genuinely on the table. ISK may yet be asked
We can stop the clock
that.
to seek information from a range of areas. Sometimes we'll stop the clock to await the outcomes of a judicial process or a state consideration that's relevant.
Thank you.